Hello everyone, today I can say we have quite the treat here. So this is the ZOIA effects pedal by Empress Effects. What's cool about it is that it is pretty much a all-in-one effects pedals. From everything to cab sims, to reverbs, overdrives, delays, loopers, all kinds of different effects all in one pedal. It is a little expensive, but I've seen some people pay upwards of $2,000 for a single pedal. You know who you are if you're one of them, and I am judging you. But what is very cool about this is that you can pretty much build your pedal chain within this little grid that's on the front here. This is one of my effects that I built up myself, plus there is a website that people share their own patches on. So it's pretty much like a pedal eurorack within a pedal. Pretty neat of an effect if I do say so myself. In fact, what you're hearing right now is actually sounds only coming from the pedal that I recorded, which is actually with these top 4 keys right here. You can have a synthesizer, as one of the effects within the pedal is a synthesizer keyboard. And at the top here we have these 4 are the notes, which I have muted because I'm playing on the background music. And then those are running into this cabinet sim here, which I have as a sort of vintage simulator. And then you can see from this bright dot here going to both here, which is a normal SV filter, and also here, which is a chorus. That goes and feeds into this delay. And then there's the ASDR here, along with the SV filter that controls the keyboard itself, and all that feeds into the main audio output here, which it can do both mono and stereo outputs. Very useful. Alright, so now let's actually get into building a sort of patch. Well, first thing that you're going to have to do, besides select an empty slot, is you're going to tap anything on the actual panel here. So we'll always start here. And then you'll see you'll have different options from interface modules, audio modules, control modules. So let's start with interface, and we're going to need a audio input. So under here, we can choose what color. So as an input, I'm going to decide I want this to be, well, let's say yellow. And then I don't want it stereo. Let's have it as just a left channel, because I'm only going to start with a mono synth. And then moving down, we can see that there's nothing else we can edit. So we just click done. So this is our singular audio input, and we can make a name for it. What you see, there's little letters and numbers here, and I accidentally pressed that, which I didn't want to, so let's just press backspace and just enter, and then just click done. So here's our audio input left. So obviously with an audio input, we have to input audio. So grabbing an audio cable here, we're going to go ahead and attach an Erica Synths ProCons, because as some people may have known, I am very fond of that drum machine. I'll take the output, flip this up, ignore that I accidentally tapped that. We have the left channel here for input. And then I'll plug the other side into the output of the ProCons, which the ProCons is just a mono drum machine unless you want to go voice by voice. Now, the ProCons is on, and we see this is off, and this is on, so it's not bypassed. But we hear no sound when I'm playing notes on the ProCons. That's because, like modular, it is very build it yourself. We still need an output. So usually I like putting outputs down here, so we'll click here, interface, audio output, and for output we'll go ahead and line, let's just say normal green. And I don't want it stereo, I want it to only be the left channel. And you can also add a gain control. So each thing you add is one little dot. So obviously if I didn't have the gain control, this would go away. So if I turn it off, you know how that goes away. But if I had it on, it stays on. And if I wanted stereo instead of just left or right, it adds 2 channels. So this will be left, right, and then there is your gain control. But as it is right now, I only want the left channel. Now continuing on, we go and press done. Now, to sync it up, we have this as the input left and this the output left. And you just tap both at the same time. Whoops, again, I should probably get a better camera set up eventually. And after tapping both of them, I'll actually raise this. There we go. After tapping both of them, we just simply press back, and now we hear stuff going through. And as you see, when I tap it, you can see the 2 lights going from here to here. Now that's cool. We have a basic pedal just going through and doing absolutely nothing. Cool. Let's actually do something with it. So, this is my basic kick drum. Kick drum, a little noise, that, and a little acid sound because the ProCons recently added sampling capability. Let's actually add some effects. So, this is our input. Let's just go to the next spot so we have some space. And let's go to effects modules. Yeah, tone control, delay, tons of delays, distortion. Let's go and add let's add a cabinet simulator. And because cabinets are usually black, well, you know what, let's do orange. Call back to orange cabinet. And let's have 1 in, 1 out. And we'll say this is a, let's do a 1x12 vintage. And we click done. As you notice, there's no change. That's because, obviously, there is nothing going through it. So first we have to go and so what I just did there was I broke this chain. So if you hold both down and hold shift and then press the trash can here, that breaks the chain of the modules. So then we can go and put them. So here we have the end of the cabinet and the out. So we'll just press both the audio in to the cabinet, and we can see they're both highlighted to the cabinet. Then we have the audio out to output. So we press this and we see these 2 are lit up. So audio in to the cabinet in, and then cabinet out to audio out. So now it should be going and working through the cabinet to go and have little style of a vintage cabinet. Now if I wanted to change this, I would press this, then press shift, edit, which is the page of a pencil. So let's say now, because we actually hear it because it's hooked up, let's change it to hi-fi. And then this one is a dark one, modern, just a standard, lo-fi, vintage, hi-fi, full. Let's Let's go for a dark. So we'll do dark, press, go back up, done. Whoops. So you see, a very cool thing I just did there was I accidentally pressed preset. I didn't save, and I just reloaded the preset, and I wiped everything I did. So actually, to save, there is a save button, which is shifting this. You should do that unless you want to just make the mistake I did, but I'm not going to edit this out so everyone understands that saving is important. But since I was going slow, now let me show you how you can do that actually very fast, everything I did. So, go here, tap on an interface, input, and I'll just go with the normal color, stereo, left, and white input, done. Here, interface, output will be green this time. Gain control, on, channels, left, done. Go here. Effects, cab sim, this, and then dark, done. Cab sim to that, cab sim out to that. And we're already back where we are, just to show how fast it can go if you knew what you were doing. So, no biggie because I didn't do much yet. I'm not going to save either because we're just going to be silly about this and live on the edge until I'm done with this. So let's go to next one. Let's do, I want some type of anything to bring it darker through there. So when it comes out the cab sim, let's do it overdrive and distortion. Let's make it, where's red? Red to make it angry. And edgy sounds fine. Done. So first I have to... Wonder why that's happening. Yeah, it seems there's just a straight output coming out of the cabinet sim for some reason. I'm not sure. Oh, I see. I just put the input to output by accident because I tapped them both at the same time. Good to know. So obviously we would just hold both, shift, trash, and then it's not connected anymore. And hold both, shift. Hold both, shift, trash, so that's not connected, and then both, shift, trash. So now everything's disconnected. So do that to there, and then the input of the output of the cabinet to the overdrive in, and then the overdrive out to output. So now got a little bit of overdrive and distortion. Cool. Let's give some more sound to this. So let's go and give it a chorus after. So I'll first disconnect these two. And starting here, chorus, we'll keep it to orange, one in, one out. Yeah, just a classic chorus. So let's go. That's the output, that's the input, and then output to there. So this is now distortion chorus through a cab sim. Actually sounds pretty decent. So let's actually work with a small drum pattern. And then I actually want to, let's go and down tune this, get more decay. Alright, something simple. Alright, there we go. So, like I said, if we want to add even more effects, or we can bypass stuff, so let's say we don't want the cab sim anymore. So this is the cab sim. We can just go and break that chain. So I'll just go and I just put this straight to here, and then we'll break the chain here. It'll be better if I didn't have such fat fingers. Alright, so this is just through the overdrive and the chorus now. And let's actually do some output gain in the overdrive. Let's add the overdrive. Let's see what we got. As you see, it is a very decent, powerful pedal. I'm only showcasing very little bit of it because it could do a lot more than just this. So actually, let me go and set something else up here, because as it has two inputs, if we do stereo, that means we can do two mono synths and actually affect both of them differently. So now if I quick change this up, I have the Micro Brute UFO edition to the right channel, and then the Parcons into the left channel, and then both of them going to my Audiofuse. Well, out of the ZOIA to the Audiofuse. Stay. So, bypass. You got the normal drum that I already made. And a simple little salt wave, like an acid house type beat. So, now the difference is, let's start here. And make sure it's not bypass. Let's start with an input. Except now, we're going to make sure it is stereo. And let's go with Mango. And now, because it's stereo, we have the left and then the right. So we know the left is the Parcons and the right is the Mini Brute, Micro Brute. Now we know we're on the 3 module, so we're going to have some space down here. Because besides the stereo, we're also going to have a gain control, which makes it 3 modules. And we'll do yellow. So now we can see at the right goes from here. And the left, and we'll attach the left, and then the right will go to right. So there, all attached. So you can see that's the Parcons, and that's the Micro Brute. Cool. Now, what I find really awesome about the synth, well, I mean, technically it is a synthesizer, is that you are able to have different effects for each thing. So, for the microbrute being acid, I want, let's think. Let's just go and see what we have. So let's take this. I'm going to choose this to be the microbrute line. We'll go to effects. And you know what? Let's give it let's do a phaser. Phasers will be awesome. We'll keep it lime. 4-stage phaser, so we'll eat up a little bit of space there, but done. So let's go and break this. And then we'll put this into the phaser. And then the out of the phaser will go to this. So now, that sounds cool. Alright, that sounds good. And now for the drums, of course, because one thing that I like going and pairing with acid is more as an industrial, so we'll go and give it the same nice little overdrive. We'll go to effects and let's give it an overdrive. Let's keep it green and let's just do a classic overdrive. So I have to break this chain. And attach the new ones. So now we have that going as a perfect overdrive there. And then we have this through the phaser. So let's see if I deselect everything and stop this. See, we have this glowing to show that the Percons is on, and this glowing to show when the microbrute's on. So we put them together. So I'm just, no matter, even though how long this video is, I am just barely scratching the surface of it. I can guarantee you there is so much more that can be done with this besides the keyboard that I showed you in the front. You can stack so many things with it, and I do really enjoy this. Like I said, it is a little steep. I ended up paying about $550 for mine. However, it replaces a lot. Like I said, this is technically, if I wanted to chain these together, this is technically about 3 pedals together, up to as many as you could fit, honestly. And controlling 2 synths at the same time, all through one little space here. And of course, you can chain different effects together. Like I can go and quickly scroll and select different things as we're going. And there's even a looper inside of it too, and other tons of little bits you can do. I would highly encourage you to either just see if someone has like a video going through every single effect, or just watching or just reading through the patch notes that they have on their actual web page, because there is just so much that can be done with this, and I've thoroughly enjoyed everything here. And the best thing I could say about it is that it is very amazing. With how much expensive pedals are now, and if you just want a bunch of pedals in one, I would say get this. It is amazing for its value. It has great value and tons of sounds in it. Plus, it is also a synthesizer technically, so you have plenty of things within it. You can even send Midi to it to be able to essentially control the synthesizer within it using... well, it's not going to turn because I have all these audio cables. And like I said, I highly recommend you pick one of these up, or at least check it out, see if someone has it to try it out. There's not that many of them out there, so I really do like that it is technically a good value, well, more like a great value with it. And like I said, I highly recommend you go and look into these. It is very fun to play with. It takes up not that much space, and it has so many effects inside of it that it makes it worth its weight in essential golden circuitry, different transmitting capacitors and circuits and all that other fun stuff. But as it stands, great value, I would say, for what it is, and everything it has in it is a one-of-a-kind, 10 out of 10 effect, technically, even though it is just all within it. Plus, the other thing, they keep updating the firmware to add more. The firmware 5.0 just came out, I don't remember when, because I just recently got mine, obviously, but this is still improving and giving more features, which I always love when any type of equipment keeps continuing its lifespan further past than what it originally was, as you get great value for money and can use it for years on end. This here will be a continual staple with me, because, like, say, even though I love effects pedals, I don't feel like, okay, I need to chain up a chorus, a delay, and I want to gate this, and I'm going to chain this to here. It's like, okay, no, everything's here. I don't have to chain 20, 30 different pedals together, or, I mean, not that many, unless you're like, I don't know, I bet someone's done it. But I don't feel like chaining up 5 pedals when I could just have one pedal, do it, and tune it exactly how I want to, and then it only takes up this much space. Saves on carrying space, too, if you're going to and from shows. Like I said, great effect, and thanks for watching. I would appreciate if everyone at least leave a comment on any other effects you would like me to see on here, and see what else you want me to play with this. So comments are appreciated, likes are appreciated, and subscriptions are appreciated, as in the future I will be messing with this more, along with any more things that you will see within the channel. Thanks for watching, everybody.